Managing your time is useless if you cannot manage your focus. And I have a bit of a story of my own that I can share with you about my experience with this whole thing ordeal. As you know, everyone on the internet is always telling you that you need to manage your time, plan your days, etc., etc. So I fell for it. And that's what I tried doing. I used timetables to meticulously plan out my day, what I'm gonna do at certain hours, certain minutes, and when am I gonna take breaks. I kept trying and trying to use this method to manage my time and work effectively, but unfortunately it didn't really pan out the way I wanted to, and in the end I just didn't really get anywhere. But then after some time, have you ever had a whole day planned out meticulously and actually tried to follow that plan, and the whole day disappeared, but in the end you didn't end up doing really anything productive as you thought you would? And that's actually a very common occurrence because everybody is very focused on their calendars, their time tracking apps, their day management apps, etc., but they forget one very important aspect of actually successfully following through: focus. Research shows that productivity doesn't rise with better time planning, but instead it rises with increased and more deep focus. Because what's the point of you planning your whole day out and kind of going through it? You're just gonna half-assedly do it all without putting in any focus. The end result is that you went through your day, supposedly followed your time plan, but you just weren't focused enough to actually follow through with it. And in the end, you're just ending up with a disappointment. And that's a very common occurrence. Quickly back to my story. As I was saying, I was planning out my days meticulously. I had like a whole time box style diary that I tried using, and there were these things that I put in that I'm gonna do this when I wake up, I'm gonna do this after breakfast, I'm gonna have breakfast at a certain time, I'm gonna go work out, I'm gonna have a break here, walk the dog there, etc., etc. And I really did try following that and doing it, but in the end, after trying it out for a couple of days or even weeks, I just didn't end up doing everything the way that I had planned I would in the end. And if you've tried this as well, I think you're very familiar with what happens if you time your days like this and don't follow it up with focus. In the end, you just feel like you're endlessly busy. It leads to procrastination, burnout, and just unfocused work. And if you've tried this method of scheduling your work in your days, I'm pretty sure that in the end you've come to the same conclusion. Maybe you're in denial, you think that you're following everything through, but I want you to just take a moment, look back at your past week of you doing that. Did you actually get the work done that you wanted to get done? Or did you just check the boxes and did it haphazardly without putting in any focus and not reaching your goals that you've set yourself? And chances are that it's the latter. In the end, it's not about the hours in a day, it's more about the energy within the hour. And you really need to think about it and try to dismantle this saying and really understand it, because once you do, your whole work life and productivity is going to change. Now, getting back to my story, how did it all end? As I mentioned previously, I was doing this meticulous planning, hour by hour, what am I gonna do when and when. In the end, it didn't lead to any results, and I was frustrated, I was disappointed, because everybody keeps saying that you need to plan your day meticulously and follow up with the plan. And that's what I really tried doing, but in the end, it didn't lead to the results that I wanted. In the end, it led to procrastination, kind of delaying tasks, because I just felt burnt out, because I know there's this schedule, and if I miss it a little bit or don't do it the way that I thought I'm gonna do, it leads to disappointment in yourself slightly, that you should be doing more. And that feeds into a cycle where it makes missing your timeline that you've set for yourself easier and easier, and it really adds up, and in the end you really just get nothing done. So what was my solution? Instead of focusing on what I'm gonna do throughout the whole day, I set up specific tasks, and I didn't necessarily have to say that I'm gonna do this at 2 p.m. I'm gonna do this for midnight before sleep. I just scheduled everything that I needed to do in general within the day, and then I set up like these focus hours. Instead of focusing on what I'm gonna do next, and how am I gonna do it right, I set up this one task in front of myself. Let's say I needed to write a script during the day for a video, upcoming video. Could be this video, who knows? So instead of following some timetable, I just sat down at my computer, I set a timer where I'm gonna just work on it and just deeply focus on this one specific task. And try to keep yourself focused within this task, in the time frame that you set for yourself that you're gonna be doing this task. And obviously, nobody's superhuman, we're not machines, we're not computers, right? We do get tired and we do do lose focus. So when you really feel that you're starting to slip, instead of trying to go through with it, like push through it, all that's going to lead to is just you're losing focus, you're going to lose your efficiency, and in the end, you're just not going to be happy with the results that you get. So if you've set yourself a goal that you're going to do something for an hour, and in 30 minutes you feel your attention starting to slip, just get up, take a quick walk, stretch a bit, go make yourself some tea, just let your brain rest, just for even a few minutes. That's gonna let your brain shift focus to something more enjoyable, relaxing, right? So it takes a little bit of a break, right? And after just 5 minutes of you stretching, walking, I don't know, saying hi to your mom or calling her, you're gonna get back to the computer, you're gonna resume the timer and keep yourself super focused on this task. And that's the way that I fixed my time scheduling problem. Instead of having a meticulous schedule during the day, I just had specific tasks that I needed to do within the day, and I set out when am I going to start working on them, and I set that timer and I worked on that task until I completed it. And once I complete that task, I take a small break. I go eat lunch, I go walk my dog, I go work out, and then when I get back to it, I'm refreshed again, my brain is ready for deep focus. So then I head out to the next task. I set my timer and I work on it. And in that way, I fixed my problems that I had with time scheduling, and because I shifted my focus from having a huge list of things to do during certain times of day to just having a list of things to do and deeply focusing on each task and letting myself take breaks in between. Because what's the point if you're just gonna rush through everything without deeply focusing on it if you're just not gonna get those results? You might as well not have done it. So just keep that in mind. That's the way that it helped me. Now let me ask you a few questions. What is the thing that you should be focused on today? I don't want you to tell me the 20 things you need to do today. Everybody can think of 100 things they could do today. But specifically today, what is the most important task that you need to do? Now think about that task, and instead of scheduling for specific times of the day, if you're ready for it right now, just start working on it. Work on that one specific task and deeply focus on it and really put everything into it. And if you start losing focus, take a small break. Get back to it again. And I guarantee with such mindset, you're gonna have way easier time actually doing the things you need to do and doing them efficiently. You're just not gonna be wasting time by haphazardly doing these things that you need to do. And then I gotta ask you another question. What is the thing that's stealing the best hours of your day and your best focus during the day? So you just gotta do some reflective analysis. Think about which times of the day you feel the best, you feel the most energized, you feel the most focused. And you might have a bit of a hard time like saying it right now from the back of your head if you haven't thought about it before, but just keep a small diary. Just every couple of hours, just ask yourself the question, how do I feel right now? Do you feel a bit tired? Do you feel bored? Do you feel energized? Do you feel focused? And after a little while, you're just gonna have these statistics of your day the way you feel during those times. And then you need to understand which of those times are the times when you can be the most focused, the most dedicated to your work. And those are the times of the day that you should be scheduling your most important tasks, because you'll be able to do them efficiently without wasting time and effectively, and it will bring you to the results that you want to have. Let's look at a quick example of some other person that would be using such methods to make themselves more efficient. Let's say an Olympic athlete. They have their training schedule. Of course, their trainings are scheduled, but when they actually do get to the point when they are doing these trainings, they don't think about their schedule, what they're going to be doing next, what they're going to be doing after that, what are they going to be eating for lunch. They don't think about it. The moment they start their, let's say, first training session, all of their intense focus is on that specific session, doing their best, doing the most, not letting go, being deeply focused and actually making the most out of that time. And when that time frame is over, they've done their exercises or training sessions, they take a quick break, have food, drink water, and then they begin their next task. Again, fully focused, fully dedicated, and 100% in that task. That's why that person is an Olympic athlete. That's why they have this success and perhaps you don't. It's because they have learned to use their focus. They really focus on their tasks and not think about anything else. That's what you really need to do, and that's the mindset change that you need to make in order to potentially become an Olympic athlete or a top performer at your job, growing your business. You need to manage your focus, not your time, and that is very important. I need you to keep that in mind. But there is one more hidden trap. Managing time is like pouring water into a leaky bucket. Managing focus is like making the bucket not leak. If all of this seems very confusing and you're not used to it, don't worry. Not everybody easily understands it from the first moment they hear about it, and that's fine. That's why we're here. I've created a framework of 5 tips and tricks of how you can start shifting your focus from time onto focus. And this list will be published on our Telegram channel, which you can join for free. The link is going to be in the description, so make sure not to miss it. And after you've checked out this framework within our Telegram, I want you to think about this. Time slips away, but focus creates legacy.